All right, man. It's the first stream in a minute, dude. It's been a minute. All right. I've been waiting to talk about shit, dude. I've been waiting for some shit to actually talk about, especially with CS2. Also, especially like mental game stuff. Cause I don't know. Everything I talk about, man. Everything I talk about is stuff I've used personally, and I usually want to wait until like I've figured out something really well before discussing it. And the following thing I think I figured out pretty well, so I want to discuss it pretty soon here. I'm gonna wait till people start joining up though before I get into like the big shit I prepared. So till then, I was gonna go over some tips and tricks type shit, because that's something, bro. I haven't done tips and tricks either in like literally like 6 months, because when CS2 was announced, I was like, okay, there's no point learning any CS:GO stuff, so I stopped learning any CS:GO stuff. And then when CS2 first came out, I was like, man, there's no point learning this until like we figure out the meta and what changes. So I wasn't grinding anything really CS2 related till the past couple months. So I actually got stuff to talk about now, CS2 wise and mental game wise. Hold on, this audio always gets fucked up. Give me a second. Yeah, it's been a minute since I just actually just streamed and it wasn't a match. All right, so yeah, while I wait for people to join up, I'm gonna go through some CS shit. All right, is this CS audio working? All right, we're good. We're good. All right, we're good. All right, man. I'm gonna be going through my my note cards. I've been using this shit like crazy. It's so convenient with trying to learn new shit. Get the fuck out of here. No. AR. Don't kill me. Yeah, dude, I've been using that Anki app like crazy, man. Trying to learn this new stuff. Holy fuck, this is loud. Yo, quick tip, man. Quick tip if you're trying to learn shit for CS. I made a video about before, the Anki note card app goes crazy. Bro, I combine it. I heard that apparently if you spike your adrenaline after like a learning session, like 15 minutes post a learning session, like you retain that information like way better of whatever you were studying during that learning session. So I'll study the note cards of all this new CS2 nades and shit like in the morning, and I take a cold shower right after, and like, dude, I've been retaining this shit so well. So yeah, I'll go through some of these nades and shit. Let me look through these cards, see what's worth talking about. Cause yeah, jerking off by your adrenaline. Probably depends on what you're jerking off to. I know you oh, that's why you learn so well, dude, because mid practice you're always gone for like 2 minutes. Shit retains the information. It's nasty shit. Nah, yeah, dude, dude, it's actually crazy, bro. Like, I saw that some video on it about like the adrenaline stuff, and like apparently it's like some like one, I think it's called like, there's a name to it, like the type of learning where it's like one time practice learning, and it's like you're able to like learn stuff within like one shot if you do that like protocol of like spiking your adrenaline. So I'll like literally cold shower. I mean, I take a cold shower anyways in the morning, but I'll do that before the cold shower. I just remember all the note cards. But yeah, here, I'm gonna go through all these notes, man. I wrote all my note cards, all like the util I found. I got a bunch of util from Nart too, but there's no point going over that. He's already made content. I'm gonna show all the stuff I found personally. So yeah, with Inferno changing, bro, they add this big ass fucking building. Like, you can't even, it's so hard to smoke anything arch side, because this big ass building, these stupid ass roofs just cover all the lineups. So I found a pretty consistent shock smoke for yeah, you want to challenge arch control. You come right here and you line up with this wall, and then you find the middle of this window, or you find the branch that comes out from the middle of this. You go up to the gutter of that, crouch, and you stand up and jump throw. And this will end up smoking off shocks pretty well. It'll bounce off that bench right there. So the thing with new shock smokes in CS2 is this bench and this pallet fuck up a lot of lineups. Like, you used to be able to throw like a shock smoke like right here, but with this bench, you could just literally just jump right over and have like a one-way right here. So if you want to smoke shocks, it has to be like deep enough, like back here, where if someone wants to jump on these things, they aren't behind a smoke, they're in front of it, so they're just straight up exposed. So the shock smokes have to land like way deeper now, like back here, which I think there were shock smokes like that. What's it called before? Do you have deal with the slump while having sky high motivation? No, I don't think so. I've never had that problem. I've never had the combo that problem. I've had both I've had a slump before recently, which I was actually going to talk about. Can you send me your my Steam for what? All right, so that's the shock smoke. Let me see. Oh, bro. Actually, I'm gonna stay in order of this list here. I don't wanna get out of order because I'm gonna just repeat myself. Let me see. Actually, no, fuck, I'll go through this. Yo, I found this util set, bro. I found this util set for Inferno. If you're like the boiler player, or if you're in boiler, or if you're just pugging, you want to throw this. If you end up getting like a pick, let's say like lane, and you want to snap up a site, you could throw this util set from boiler. I would throw this. So like, there's like a, yeah, I would throw. All right, so let me explain this. I guess when you hit a site on Inferno, there's usually like 2 different types of executes you can throw. And it's kind of like dependent on the map control that you have. So if you already have apps control, you want to usually smoke off front sight right here. And then you have like the apps guy just hold like the wraparound. And then you have like the guys coming up lane clear pit like this. But if you don't have apps control, then usually what you want to do is smoke off wagon right here. And then molly balk because you don't have control of this. And then you ignore pit and then you swing sight. It's like usually the safer way. So it's depending on the map control that you have. You throw like the differences between these two executes, right? If you have apps, you smoke front sight, you swing pit. If you don't have apps, you smoke wagon, you swing sight. So I found a snap set, like of snapping is like if you get a kill, you can just throw it on the fly, like really quick. A util set for that wagon exec. So you come in here in boiler, you line up with the door with the window. This will smoke off wagon itself, like that, right there. And it doesn't cover like you as you run in, right? It gives you enough space. And then if you just go to the back side of this doorway right here, to the left side, aim underneath this light to the white line, you left, right, W jump throw. This molly will cover all of balk, and it sometimes spreads to mini pit. So even if you are throwing like a side exec, say you throw front sight smoke instead, you could still also throw this molly as well because it gets mini pit too. It'll cover down right into there. It gets both of them. And then it spreads all the way back here too. It's like a goated ass molly, dude. It gets fucking everything. I don't know how it's possible. But yeah. I found that util set. And then from here, after you throw the combo smoke molly, you just aim at the bricks. You aim to the left of the bricks. Right here. Holy fuck. Alright, move in front and then you aim at the bricks. Run, jump, throw. And that's a guy. Oh my fuck. Holy shit. You aim at this brick and you... What the motherfuck? The left of this brick. You run straight and just jump throw. That's the God Flash. It won't block you. So, boom, smoke, boom, molly, aim right here, run, jump throw, God Flash. You just run in. And you have people flash over pit as you do this. And those flashes over pit will blind anyone's sight trying to hold this. Because want to check your Steam for skins. I usually don't like giving out my Steam. I got like so many fucking friend requests, bro. If you want to see my skins, I don't know, find it somehow. I don't know how you can find my Steam. Just look up Samar. I usually don't add people though, because people spam me with fucking invites. But yeah, that's a little snap util set I found. Also from this area right here, I found util for arch control. Right, if you want to like wrap arch or even just do like a shock smoke. Right, so you're like in brackets, you want to finish A. If you want to smoke off arches itself, you come above this line and you just go to the right above this window, like this, and then you left, right, jump throw. This is like, dude, I'm not gonna lie, this lineup kind of, fuck, it does suck. Honestly, any of these arch smokes suck when you're in brackets, but this is the best one I can find. A little bit above this, I guess, so like, right here, left, right, jump throw. And then for library, you just come up to here, to there, you left click throw, and then this should be shocks right here, a left right jump throw. That should be like a full combo. See that fucking library smoke miss too. Like, Above this, I think, right here. This should be library. Yeah. Fuck the other smoke I threw. Quick little combo set, right? Here to here, library. Here to here, left, right, jump throw, arch. And then this is a shock smoke that I found, but I also want to replace it because, like I said, it has that same problem as the other one I threw. Is that you can jump on the bench in the pallet to see over the shock smoke. So I do want to find a shock smoke that lands deeper from this combo spot, but that's the one I had for now. Yeah. Fuck, go find one right now, dude. Right here. First try. No shot. Away? Oh. I'll find that later. That's a little, a little quick util combo spot. I'm sure people have already seen this smoke. I got this from Nart, but I found this flash for boiler. You walk, jump throw, aim above right here. This is like a perfect boiler pop flash. Hands like right up here. Blinds everyone up this. Boom. Get you guys out boiler. Let me see what else. This is also something I got from Nart too. The new banana flashes that you throw up here for banana control, like this. Oh shit! How about that? I think it did go a little bit too far. I walked a little bit too far. If it's like this, I think it should be better. Like a quick little walkthrough. Oh fuck, that's bad. Yeah, I don't think it might not get that guy actually. You're right. Quick little step should be a little bit better. Yeah, that one's better. Oh, even if it does go too far, I still might get this guy. Unless he's really close. But yeah, this is a combo spot I found. So, the flashes for the banana, like you want to throw them from here now. I think I got this from Nart. I added onto this with a combo. So, if the CTs decide to push mid, you just aim at this door up here and you left click throw. And that'll be a flash for your teammates to swing out here. That'll blind any of the CTs pushing mid. It won't blind your teammates at all. They could just swing with this. So that's like a mid defensive flash from the same position. And then also from the same position, if you go up from here to the end of this railing right here, and you left click throw an HE, this will blow a banana smoke. So if you want to pop banana, they smoke it, you go boom, boom, and then it just doesn't blow it up. Did they change this? Wait. Oh fuck, I guess they updated. That's crazy. Alright, scratch that. What a way to find out. There goes that. Let me see what else I got. Let me see if there's any Inferno shit on here. I'm just gonna type in Inferno. Oh. There's a retake util set I found. A combo right here. In the middle of the door. You come here. You left click throw a molly right here. This will get back sight. Pretty consistently. Covers everything. Okay, I guess not. What the fuck? There it goes. Covers all the back sight. Now it's not covering there. What the fuck? Right here. Should fully spread. That's crazy. Hold on. Maybe higher? No shots up here. Yeah. Bro, what the fuck? There it is. Not. That's crazy. Bro, the A splits be more difficult for no reason. I know, with the roof and stuff, it just ruins it. That's crazy how this molly's just not working right now. I had this down so well. If I aim more to the left. So aim more to the left covers everything. Alright, do that then. So yeah, you got the molly right here. Like this. And then you have cold molly right here. Middle of the pallet. Left, right, jump throw. That'll get all the cold. So it's like, boom, boom. And then if you aim right here at the tree, you left click throw. This is sight for, or this is smoke for, to smoke off pit. You can come up. You got everything volleyed out. Smoke off pit like that. Nice retake set. Right there. Let me see what else I got. Alright. That's it for the Inferno stuff. Seems like you can't do this ace with the same way as CSGO. You need to dry peek some angles. What angles are you talking about? For Arch? I thought you were talking about it's difficult because of the roofs. Because that's what I thought made it difficult. The roofs are just so hard to get around. Alright, that's all Inferno stuff though. Let me continue. Unless you have something else to say. Let's go to... Let's see what else I got. Oh, let me go to Mirage, dude. I found some weird Mirage shit. I'm not sure if anyone else has already found the smoke on Mirage, but because there's like a drop down effect now, like if a smoke lands on an edge, it's been out for a minute, it'll like drop down, you know? You can throw a smoke for triple to cover all of triple, or yeah, you can throw a smoke for triple right here to cover all of ticket when you A-wrap. People used to throw this like on the bench and go, but the smoke doesn't sit as high enough when you throw it now, just the way it works. So if you throw it up on this ledge, the smoke gets really tall. And I found several lineups for it. So if you ever want to A-split on Mirage, if you come to this corner, you find the tree, and you go to the part where it hooks up like that, and you jump through a smoke, it'll land on that ledge I was just talking about. And it should like cover all of ticket. So ticket can't see you, that side of triple can't see you at all. And then from the same position, if you had like some combo, you just come up from the roof to middle of the wires, you can smoke off jungle for like an easy A-split. Like that. This jungle smoke is super forgiving. So boom, you just come up, you split A, and then you just aim above here, run, throw a molly, boom, you molly out the peak around triple. So they can't be out triple. Smoke, molly, smoke, split A. Also, if you're already like up cat and you want to throw the same util set, you come, you lock in right here, aim in this corner, and then you shift walk jump throw for the ticket smoke, and then you come above the doors, aim at the top of the wire, stand up, and left click throw. And that's a jungle smoke. So yeah, boom, and boom from cat. More A-split util from right here. Throw both those sets from mid. Pretty decent shit, man. Let me see what else I got. I think a lot of this stuff is just Nart shit, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, bro, a lot of that shit is Nart stuff. We just started playing Mirage as a team, so I've been trying to learn this. I haven't played Mirage on a team ever, and so we're like 4 scrims into this map, still trying to learn it. Even though it's like the most basic map ever. All right, I'll move on from the tips. This is what I actually want to talk about, man. This is what I had prepared here. Let me see. Let me change the title of the stream. One sec. All right. This is what I wanted to talk about, dude. Pershing. Who was it? Pershing? No, it was Anarchy. You're talking about the slumps, bro? I had a horrible slump. In my performance from like July to September. I was in a horrible state of mind. And so my slump was not due to like anything specific in game. It was actually completely mental. It was all mental. Well, now I know it's like actually physical. It was like more of a body based reason why I was playing so bad, which I'll get into. But it was anxiety, bro. It was literally anxiety and full blown DPDR, which is pretty much anxiety plus. It's like I'll get into it. I'll get into it. So this is what I want to talk about, man. I had that horrible slump from July to September. I was in a horrible state of mind, dude. It was just like every day. I don't know if anyone knows what depersonalization is or derealization. I struggled with that for the past like 2-3 years. I smoked weed with some friends like 3 years ago, had a panic attack, and it's like, I don't know, you ever been like dare class in high school and they're like, yeah, some guy smoked weed, it was never the same, like went crazy afterwards, bro. That I never thought that would happen to me. That shit happened to me, bro. Like actually, I smoked weed with my friends like 3 years ago. I had a panic attack, and I never felt the same since. And it's not because I went crazy, which I was 100% convinced I was. It was because of what I understand now as DPDR, which is depersonalization, derealization. And it's something that I think the statistic is like 60% of people will experience at least once in their lifetime. It's probably higher than that from what I hear. It's just that people don't know exactly what DPDR is, so they haven't like claimed that they've experienced it before. So it's actually probably higher. That I would believe everyone would actually experience DPDR at least once in their life, which I'll get into what exactly it is, but it's depersonalization, derealization. So talking about that slump, bro, I had that for the past 3 months. My depersonalization got just even worse. My anxiety got so bad that I was having like so many panic attacks daily, bro. Like I would wake up in a state of panic. I would wake up in a state of adrenaline and anxiety. I was in this full blown just existential crisis where I was overthinking everything, obsessed with the afterlife and all this crazy stuff, bro. I was in a horrible state of mind, and I realized that as I looked into it, I looked into how to get rid of this shit, bro. All of it was linked. They're all symptoms of DPDR. I wasn't actually going crazy. We'll get into this. DPDR, I'll get into it. So this, I created a slideshow, bro, because there's a lot to learn with anxiety and DPDR recovery. But it's simple in practice, but it's like it's simple in practice, but it's kind of complicated when you're first learning about it. But I wanted to make a slideshow about this because, dude, this can be applied to anything. Like if you have like in-game anxiety, out-of-game anxiety, like this is literally how to get rid of anxiety, bro. There's so many people that like talk about like cures and stuff, or like how to like manage your anxiety. Like, bro, this is not how to manage it. This is how to get rid of it. Like you don't need to live with anxiety. It's what I would call like gratuitous anxiety, which is this anxiety for no reason. Like if you're feeling anxiety over like a game, like anxiety is meant to be there for, fight or flight. If there's an actual like lion attacking you. So I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. All right, we're gonna get into this. Shout out Jordan Hargrave, bro. I took his course, bro. That shit saved my life. I swear to God, it saved my life, dude. I was in the worst state of mind ever. So shout out Jordan Hargrave, man. That dude saved my life. So this is about anxiety and DPDR. This can be applied in game and everything outside the game, bro. You trying to rizz up some girls? I apply it at the gym when I go to talk to some girls, man. Practice my riz. I do the same shit. It can be applied to anything. So we'll get into it. Anxiety, DPDR. This is the slideshow I've created. So why is this important? Okay, let me move the webcam because it's blocking something real quick. Why is it important to know about how to fix anxiety or DPDR, right? Let me move this. So, what am I doing? So this is important because, bro, anxiety sucks. DPDR sucks. Who the fuck wants to deal with that? The state of mind I was in for the past like 2-3 months was just horrible. I hated it. Every day sucked. It was such a chore to even do the most minute things ever because I was just working against my body. So yeah, it just sucks in general. But on the flip side, instead of like the bads about it, if you don't have it, what the goods you'll bring. You'll have an increase in performance. You sleep better, play better. You get to socialize. Like everything feels good. Like you'll have optimism. You'll have hope again. You won't have obsessive thoughts, which is what I've been struggling with. And like I said right here, bro, you can do inherently scary things easily. Like things that seem scary to you before, you can make them not scary. You don't need like willpower or anything to overcome these scary things. You can just make them not scary, and they're just easy. Which I put Riz gains, bro. You can get bitches now, right? So you can train yourself to not be scared of anything, like I said right here, which is I would refer to as gratuitous anxiety, because as we can get into, anxiety, like what is anxiety? We'll get into what gratuitous anxiety in a second. What is anxiety? Anxiety is pretty much just fight or flight, dude. Like when you ever hear the whole fight or flight response of like what animals do in the wild, that's all anxiety is. It's your body telling you either to fight from something or fly from something, flee from something. Let me move this join button real quick. This is fucking bothering me. Oh shit. You move down here. Boom. Okay. So, yeah, when you experience anxiety, you're literally just in fight or flight, bro. It is not, there's nothing more complicated than that. And the other thing too is that all anxieties are the same thing. So if you have like, I don't know, social anxiety, in-game anxiety, perfectionistic anxiety, workaholistic anxiety, it's all the same shit. It's your body registering a danger, a threat that is telling you to fight or fly from. It's all the same. So they all should be treated the same, right? And to understand anxiety and like how it works, you have to understand your nervous system. So there's two parts to your nervous system, which someone comments on my last video about dopamine and like how I was talking about like the coin flip protocols. He was talking about how you have to like actually activate your sympathetic nervous system or your parasympathetic nervous system to calm down, and how I was getting anxious, not because of dopamine, lack of dopamine, but it's because of this. He was right. I was actually going to make a video about it. I was in the process of making this slideshow when he was talking about that. So there's actually two parts to your nervous system, your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system, okay? Think of the sympathetic nervous system as the gas and the parasympathetic nervous system as the brakes of, what am I fucking doing? Is the brakes of your nervous system. So like your sympathetic nervous system is all about like gearing you up, like movement, like as you can see here, contraction of pupils, saliva, heart rate. Oh, this is your parasympathetic. So like sympathetic is like dilates pupils, you know, tunnel vision, accelerates heart rates, dilates bronchi, so your breathing, you know, gets faster. Your parasympathetic is the opposite. It like widens your field of vision, your heart rate slows down, all that good shit, bro. Rest and relaxation, or I think the term is like the rest and digest is what they would call, like when you're in a parasympathetic nervous system dominance state of your body is like chill, you know? And so you need to understand these two parts, right? And so back to anxiety, with after we talk about those two parts of the nervous system, your sympathetic and parasympathetic, sympathetic, all anxiety is a sympathetic nervous system overload. So it's your sympathetic nervous system like filling up with a bunch of energy, and it's being activated more than your parasympathetic nervous system, right? Think of that car. It's like just pushing on the gas, and it's like picking up more than you're braking. So you're picking up speed, and your speed's elevating. And so we can talk about this cup analogy that I have here. So a lot of people, when they think about trauma, we're right into trauma now, they think that trauma can only happen from like a single instance. Like if you got in a car accident or if you witness someone dying, that's not true. That is a way to get traumatized, which is like single point trauma. But there's actually another way to get traumatized, which is known as complex trauma, which is like a consecutive buildup of stressors, which is like, you know, activation of activation of the sympathetic nervous system to a point of overload that, you know, causes trauma, a trauma state. So pretty much think of like the cup right here. If you like, and this is your sympathetic nervous system. Once it fills up fully, you're traumatized, right? It's like, it's too much energy. So like someone gets in a car accident, it's like someone dumping water into this cup, just full on dump it. It overloads within like a minute. It fills and it starts flooding off the sides. What complex trauma would be is if someone added like a couple, like, you know, teaspoon of water, teaspoon of water, teaspoon of water, teaspoon of water, and no one ever emptied this cup out until like 15 years later when this cup fully overflows, and boom, you reach a point of, you know, overload, sympathetic nervous system overload, which puts you into a trauma state, or the fight, flight, or the freeze response of fight, flight, freeze, which is known as DPDR, which is what I struggled with. So yeah, there's 3 levels of nervous system. We're gonna use the lion example. So going back like with the cup and the lion. So like say you are walking, or you're just walking, like you're a caveman, right? Go back to caveman times. You're just walking down a trail and nothing's going on. You're with your caveman wife. Shit's good. You just had like a drumstick and she brought you some berries or something, you know? You're just walking. It's chill. It's chill. You're in a state of, it's known as the social engagement system. This is like where you're calm. This is relaxation. This is peace, right? There's, you're just calm. And there might be a little bit of sympathetic nervous system activation, which is your gas pedal, right? You might be picking up a little bit of energy, but it's not to a point of fight or flight, right? This is calm. And within this state, you can get like focus, which is like I said, a little bit of sympathetic nervous system activation, a little bit of adrenaline, which is like something you would see if you're playing, I don't know, CS or if you're aim training. There is a little bit of activation of the sympathetic nervous system to get you focused, but it's not to a point of overload. Let's say that you're, the caveman wife, you're walking on that same trail and you see a lion, I don't know, 15 feet away, right? Your body starts gearing up. It's like, oh, fuck, like something's about to happen. You start feeling anxiety. This is your fight or flight response, right? We can also use this example as the lion coming and attacking your caveman wife, right? Then you're going to enter probably the fight response. So you're going to defend your wife, so you're going to try and fight the lion. This is what anxiety is pretty much. After this point, though, it gets worse. So, like, let's say the lion was to attack you, and it had you in like the jaws of its mouth, and it's like dragging you away. You're gonna enter what's known as a freeze response, which is depersonalization, derealization, which is where you play dead. Essentially, your body is registering. It's like, okay, there's too much shit going on. We're probably gonna die. So, last ditch effort. Let's disassociate from our body and all feelings entirely, and we're gonna play dead. And there's advantages to this, evolutionarily speaking, right? If you play dead, there's a good chance the lion is not going to be entertained by you as a prey, and it's going to leave you alone, and you have a chance to survive. And also, if you play dead and you dissociate, if the lion were to eat you, you would not experience pain, right? And this is essentially what I experienced, bro. So using the cup analogy of the complex trauma, single point trauma, I never realized a lot of my problems mentally were from trauma because I was like, nothing bad ever happened to me. I had like a great childhood. But it was all trauma problems, which is complex trauma. It was a buildup of stressors, which I don't know if I've ever talked about it on stream or on my channel before, but I've struggled with OCD and anxiety my whole life. And talking about the time I smoked weed and had a panic attack, all that essentially was, if we go back to the cup analogy, was my whole life with the OCD and anxiety. It was just this cup just kept building up, bro. Every day until about 18 years old, this cup filled up to about like right here. It filled up to about 98% full of just stress and anxiety and energy and emotion. And I smoked weed and had a panic attack, and it flooded the cup. And I ended up, entering into a trauma, the freeze response, which is depersonalization. I ended up depersonalizing from my body, and nothing felt real. I didn't feel real. Reality didn't feel real. I felt like I was like watching life through a TV, and it was some scary shit, bro. Depersonalization is some scary shit, and I wanted to talk about this on the channel because I've looked so much for videos, dude. I looked so much for videos on how to solve this, and a lot of the stuff I found was all bullshit. Apparently, after I found, this dude, Jordan Hargrave, he has a whole different approach, which is like the meta approach for trauma, which is I'll get into. But yeah, shout out to dude. A lot of the stuff I'm saying is what I got from him from the course that I took from him. So all credit to Jordan Hargrave, man. If you are experiencing anything with anxiety, trauma, DPDR, go check out his channel. I just realized my webcam is blocking it, but it's Jordan Hargrave. Okay, and yeah, after well, I was in the middle of taking notes for that PowerPoint, Josh, and then I think we end up having that conversation about this. So yeah, it's the same stuff that we talked about before. So back to what I was saying, the DPDR, the weed that I smoked, that fuck you, fucking mosquito, bro, fuck out of here. Dude, this mosquito's been living in my basement for the past week, and it's just only been feeding off of me and living, and it just got away again. Holy fuck. No shot. Fucking mosquito, bro. See, that just entered fight or flight. All right, back to what I was saying. Yeah, when I smoked weed, bro, that was pretty much just the straw that broke the sympathetic nervous system camel's back. Like, I reached an overload point, and I ended up entering the freeze response, which is depersonalization. And it's a completely normal thing. It is a part of every, like, mammal with the nervous system. You are supposed to enter that, which is what I learned from Jordan Hargrave. It's like, fuck, I'm getting ahead of myself. I have that all planned out in the future, okay? Going back to it. So that's DPDR, right? Your freeze response, you play dead. Let's say the lion, after having you in its jaws, dragged you back to the lion's den, and there was 15 other lions in there, and they're all about to eat you. Your body's thinking like, oh fuck, like we're we're toast, bro. There is no point in experience anything. We're going full blown dissociation, depersonalization, derealization. We're not experiencing shit. Reality does not exist no more, and you just fully, dissociate from your body. And so that's what complete dissociation is with stage 4. I don't think it's actually like a state, but it's what happens at that point. The lion drags in the den. Complete dissociation, right? So this is how it works biologically, right? This is what depersonalization is. This is what anxiety is essentially. It's all about reactions and like survival, reactions to threats. And essentially what's going on when you experience anxiety is that your body's picking up a threat of like life-threatening danger when it really isn't. Let me move this webcam. It's a little bit off. So like when you're in game and you start experiencing anxiety of like trying to clutch for that 1v4, it's pretty much your body thinking like you're gonna die. Like there's a threat of a lion, and it's all about communicating to your body that there is no threat of a lion, which I'll get into in a second. So this is complete dissociation. So when you start experiencing this stuff, anxiety, or if you're at full-blown DPDR, you might find yourself coping with these symptoms. And a lot of people think this is a solution to these problems. It really isn't. Let me move this webcam again. Let's go up here now. Let's go up here, man. Boom. We're chilling up here now. So we'll get into these symptoms now. So yeah, you might find yourself with addictions. I know I struggle with a nicotine addiction, porn addiction, food addiction, workaholism. Yeah, those are like the main 4 for me. It's like addicted to productivity and stuff. That was like the most recent one. You'll find yourself trying to distract yourself, work grinding, trying to grind school. You might be on a knowledge grind, or you just distract yourself in general with TikTok and YouTube and all that stuff, TV shows, movies, music. You might find yourself with obsessions, which is what I recently really struggled with, was obsessive thoughts. I've always struggled with obsessive thoughts my whole life with OCD, but the past couple of months when it got really bad, I was struggling with existential obsessions, which is the next thing on the point, which it makes completely perfect sense. I thought, dude, my obsessions of like the afterlife, God, if God's real, religion, if it's false, if it's true, what is consciousness, what is reality, can you trust reality, what are the things you can trust. But I was obsessed with philosophy for like 4 months, and it makes perfect sense why you end up obsessed with anything when you're in a trauma state or an anxiety state. It's because essentially all those obsessions are doing is getting you away from the feelings you're experiencing in your body. It's pretty much telling you, it's like, okay, like let's focus on something just far out there that like it's just gonna numb us from our body, because we're thinking about some complex crazy shit about like, I don't know, the Kalam cosmological argument or some shit, like some crazy philosophical shit. So like it makes perfect sense. If you are struggling with any of these symptoms, bro, you're not going crazy. I thought I broke my brain by questioning the reality of God or consciousness, that like I was like, fuck, dude, like I've gone somewhere no human should have gone before. But no, I was just experiencing DPDR, wasn't thinking straight. Your cognitive function of your brain shuts down when you are when you reach a high level of emotion. And also it's just essentially me just trying to cope with how my body was feeling physically, which was just like high energy, your sympathetic nervous system overload. So some other symptoms you might experience is need for reassurance, like validation. I was experiencing this really bad where it's like, I don't know, like if it was like, so you find some like weird things I'd need reassurance on. Like it would be for like myself, where it's like, okay, I played bad this game, like let me go practice like for 2 hours in aim train so that I can never lose that fight again. Like I need to reassure that I can't lose that fight. You'll find like weird things and like ways to reassure yourself if you're experiencing anxiety and DPDR. Oversleeping, it's another symptom you might see. Workaholism, I put, and then productiveness, addictions. There's a lot of other things. These are mostly what I struggled with. But yeah, there's more stuff out there. Yeah, as we can see, beat your meat. That's a big one. That's a big one for me. Man, I love it, man. That's the go-to one. That's the go-to one. All right, moving on. So DPDR, depersonalization, derealization. I kind of already covered this. It's the freeze response. Scary as fuck. It is beatable though. That is what I realized from that course. bro, this is something you didn't break your brain. You're not going insane. This is conquerable. I've had moments since trying to grind out of anxiety and all that stuff. I've had days of peace, which I haven't had my whole life. There is hope, bro. And it's like, even if you don't think there is hope, there is biological, neurological, psychological, just like it's a fact that there is, like, you can recover from this. It is a fact. So rest in that. It is a fact that you can get out of this. You can get out of your social anxiety, in-game anxiety, whatever anxiety. It is a fact. So, but DPDR specifically, feeling out of body, nothing feels real, existential obsessions, no connections to feelings. You feel nothing essentially, because if you think about it, DPDR is the freeze response. Your body is registering your body to get eaten by a lion. So let's disconnect feeling. You don't want to feel pain. And if you disconnect from feeling, you can't just disconnect from one feeling. You have to disconnect from all of them. So if you don't want to feel pain, you can't feel happiness. You can't feel joy. You can't feel sadness. You just don't feel anything. Nothing feels real. That's what DPDR is essentially. Trouble sleeping, trouble feeling empathy. That's something I struggled with really bad. I thought I was like a narcissist. Sometimes I still question if I am, because of like, I think it's because of this, the DPDR, is that like, I just had no connection to my emotions. So I just lacked emotional empathy to other people. Cause, yeah, I mean, that's essentially what happens when you're in DPDR. You have like no energy for that. Nihilism, however you pronounce it. That's what I went through for the past 3 months. I was a full blown, bro, I'm not joking, dude. I was like a full blown, epistemic skeptic. I didn't think you can trust anything. I didn't think you can trust reality. I thought there was no meaning to life. Nothing mattered. Very scary shit, dude. Let me tell you, man, being in that mind state is fucking terrifying. And it was on my mind every day, morning to night. Existential thoughts, purpose of life, all that stuff. Very scary shit, man. If you are nihilistic, there is hope for you. And I wonder, it's just a theory I got, if a lot of people who struggle with nihilism are actually just in a trauma response, more symptoms, feeling like a robot, distortions in time, days can feel extremely long or extremely short. I remember when I was in college, shortly after experiencing DPDR, I felt like I had a superpower because I could just zone out in class and it would just be done like in an instant. And like the class is just over with. I'm like, yeah, I could just go check out my mind and I'll come back, and like what I experienced is like a minute. Actually, it's like a whole hour and a half goes by and boom, class is over. Some weird shit, dude. Really weird shit. And also lapses in memory. I noticed that like I'd have conversation with old friends. They're talking about old shit that happened with us, some stories and stuff, and I can't recall it. And then as I started recovering and having days of actual peace, these memories came flooding back to me. The empathy came flooding back to me. The nihilism disappeared. I was able to sleep, bro. I felt things. I felt emotions. Like, it's crazy. This shit is recoverable, bro. Have hope. We'll get into more. It gets deeper. It gets deeper, baby. I love Beat My Meat. I love Beat My Meat, man. I love the perks too. All right, look at it. So we talked about the nervous system. We talked about the states, anxiety, fight, flight, freeze. So now let's understand how your body understands this stuff, because you can understand shit mentally, cognitively, logically, but your body doesn't speak that. Your body doesn't speak logic. Let me move the webcam again because it keeps on blocking shit. I should have took this into account when making the slide. We'll go back here. What the we'll lock this. We'll go here. What, bro? What is happening, dude? Go here. Stay. You come here. Motherfucker, man. All right, look at. So you can understand shit logically, but it's all about communicating that to your body, because everything I just talked about is not logic. The fight, flight, freeze response is energy. It's sympathetic buildup. It is a sympathetic nervous system buildup. So that's in your body. So if you want to calm down the body, you have to go to the body and communicate to the body in the language the body speaks. Okay. Just physical. So your body cannot tell the difference between physical threats and emotional ones. You being scared in that 1v4 to your body is the same as a lion being in a bush 15 feet away and it's about to eat you. Like when you experience that anxiety, it's the same shit, bro. So, or while streaming, right? Same thing as a lion being in the bushes 15 feet away. Fear is fear to the body. So what you have to tell yourself, there is no lion, dude. There is no lion there trying to eat you. Let me move this webcam again. Motherfuck. Why is this moving now? Go down here. So you can know that it's like logically you being in a 1v4 is not dangerous. There's no threat, but your body is picking up on it. So it's all about, you can't communicate with logic. So you can get caught in thought loops. You can find yourself getting caught in thought loops if, you're sitting here trying to fight anxiety mentally. It's like, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. I noticed myself. I would do that. I would constantly need to reassure myself, need to revalidate myself. And like with everything, bro. I was experiencing anxiety everywhere. So I was just constantly in my own head. It's fucking exhausting. Like I'd be at the gym. It's like, it's okay. It's okay. Like you can talk to this dude. Like there's no reason. Like, he's not gonna think you're weird. He's not gonna think it's like I'm constantly just trying to reassure myself. And I'm not wrong when I'm saying this stuff. Like there's no threat. Like it's okay. This guy's not gonna hurt you. Or it's okay. People aren't gonna think you're weird. I'm not wrong logically. I mean, maybe people might think I'm weird, but my body doesn't understand logic, dude. Your body comprehends physical actions. So speak to it in its motherfucking language, right? So most of the time when you're seeking like logical answers, or like you're like, man, I'm like always anxious in game. Like, how do I fix that? Like, and you look for an answer like, oh, don't be anxious. Like, it's okay. People mess up. Like, it's okay to fail. Like, I think everyone kind of already gets that. Some people, maybe they need to learn logically, like, oh, it's okay to fail, or fill in the blank of whatever their anxiety is. But most of the time, that's just reassurance, and it doesn't actually solve the issue of the body being overloaded. So, I put this in here. You have to become comfortable. Like you kind of have to stray away from logic when it comes to anxiety. I'll get into the actual body based approach in a second. But when it comes to logic, you kind of have to be comfortable without having logic. Like you have to learn how to relax and be okay with the maybes of life and the maybe nots, because you can't always have reassurance, right? Like let's say I get anxious because I want to go pro in CS. And then I'm sitting here trying to reassure myself, like, oh, you'll go pro if you aim train, if you demo review, if you team practice. Like, you have to do these things. You'll go pro then. And so I'm sitting here trying to like reassure myself, and validate myself. And like, I'll follow through and try and do these things. But in reality, that's not the truth. That's not the reality. The reality is, I don't know, maybe I'll go pro if I do these things. And that terrified me. The maybes and the maybe nots of life. And that's the key when it comes to conquering anxiety, is becoming okay with the maybes and the maybe nots. And you have to understand that possibility is not probability. And that was something that terrified me when I was obsessed with my existential thoughts of like the whole possibility issue, where it's like, man, what if nothing is real? What if I'm just a butterfly dreaming that I'm a human? And I was obsessed with like consciousness and reality. And the one thing that calmed me down was that saying right there, is that possibility is not probability. So just because something is possible doesn't mean it's probable. This can help ease your anxiety and also help you get attuned with becoming okay with probabilities and not 100% and like complete confidence in things. Like you'll never have Descartesian confidence in anything. Descartesian certainty of anything. Like you'll never be, honestly, bro, you can never prove it wrong that you're not a butterfly dreaming you're human, but you can also never prove it wrong that you're not a caterpillar dreaming that you're human, or an ant dreaming that you're human, or a spider dreaming that you're human. Just because there's an infinite possibilities of what you are dreaming that you're human. But just because there's a possibility of something doesn't mean it's probable. It's all about going with what is probable and having confidence, aka faith, in stuff. So this can get pretty deep, bro. This can get pretty deep, So yeah, probability is not, or possibility is not probability. So there is no line. Become okay with the maybes and the maybe nots of life. For me personally, it would be maybe I'll go pro, maybe I won't go pro, right? Become okay with that. So now how do we get to communicate to the body? After we understand dealing with the logic side, we can't really rely on logic when it comes to anxiety. Kind of have to push that to the side, become okay with probabilities. Now, how do we get to the body and tell the body that's okay? You have to do it physically, okay? So if you were to close your fist, like this is a closed fist analogy. If you were to close your fist tightly and you were to tell yourself, open fist, does the fist open? No, it doesn't open. You have to open it. You have to physically activate fist open. Like if you do it right now, you'll see what I'm talking about. You have to open your fist, like physically do it. So the same thing happens to your body when you go calm down. That doesn't mean shit. Your body doesn't understand what the fuck that means. What does calm down mean? We'll get to that soon. Calming down, essentially activating the parasympathetic nervous system. We'll get into how to do that. So it's all about, first, if you want to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, it's going to help if you reduce the sympathetic nervous system. So back to the car analogy of the gas and the brake pedal. Let's stop pushing on the gas and we'll start pushing on the brakes. You don't want to be pushing on the gas while you push on the brakes. So let's reduce sympathetic nervous system load. So you can spend less time engaging in stressful activities. This is something you can do. I recommend just making them not stressful if possible, and just be learning how to be calm within them. Spend less time in engaging in stressful relationships, right? You might have to cut people off. Again, option 2, make that relationship not stressful. That's always an option. Proper sleep, proper nutrition, proper exercise, proper recovery. If you're really into bodybuilding, bro, lifting weights, you might have to take a deload week, which you should. Every 8 to 12 weeks, you should take a deload week, because you end up taxing your nervous system, which is the same thing that's responsible for your anxiety and your fight, flight, freeze. So moving on, caffeine, reducing caffeine intake, because that also activates your sympathetic nervous system. And we'll get into how to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, how to self-regulate. So hit the brakes, motherfucker. So this is kind of small because there's a bunch of things you can do, but we'll get into it. So you have to understand a couple things first. You have to understand the idea of interoception. This is basically what's known as the felt sense. And this is like recognizing tension, recognizing energy and emotional buildup within the body, right? This is your perception of these things. Let me move my webcam up again because it's not all the way in. Hold on. So that is what interoception is. It's just recognizing the issues within your body. And then you get to self-regulation, which is actually addressing those issues, right? So interoception is becoming aware of the tension, energy, and emotion being built up in your body. And self-regulation is addressing either the tension or the energy or the emotion or all three and doing something about them, okay? So what are your tools that you can use, right? Starting off, we got some muscle relaxation type stuff, progressive muscle relaxation, where you like contract your muscles and relax. They over relax. You got hot bath, Epsom salts, pelvic floor technique, limp noodle. I'm gonna get into the specifics of all these later. You got breathing techniques. You got feeling your emotions, how to actually process your emotions, and also you have releasing energy, which is another thing. There's other tactics like widening your field of vision to reduce sympathetic nervous system overload and dominance. Going on a walk, any type of straight forward moving activity reduces anxiety. It like pretty much essentially tells your brain like, oh, we're walking away from a threat. Let's calm down now. Like jump roping and stuff. Any type of cardio standing in place doesn't do that. Sunlight in the morning and also sauna or cold exposure can also help with anxiety and resilience to anxiety. So you got to understand that you have a bunch of motherfucking tools, bro. You got a bunch of tools. But you need to do specific tools for each problem. So we'll break it down to 3 issues. This all comes from Jordan Hargrave, bro. You saved my life, dude. You got 3 things to look for. Are you experiencing little tension? Are you experiencing big tension? Or are you experiencing adrenaline? And there's differences and you need different tools for each. So starting off with little tension. This is just like going back all the way here, back to the cup analogy. Little tension is if like you're down here, right? You got a little bit of like energy and tension building up. It's like we're going to the lion analogy. It's like you're walking down the trail and you see a lion like, I don't know, a couple miles out. It's like, okay, it's not an immediate threat, but that's kind of scary. There's a lion a couple miles away. So it's a little bit of buildup of tension, energy, and emotion. Also, quickly throw this in here. I learned this from Jordan as well, that you can be experiencing sympathetic nervous system load and activation of the sympathetic nervous system, which is like, buildup of energy, tension, emotion, without actually feeling fear. Once it passes a certain threshold is when you start experiencing fear. So it's important to keep this motherfucking cup empty, dude. It's important to empty this cup every now and then before you even experience fear to begin with. Don't be trying to react to the cup filling up. Once you start feeling scared, just constantly empty this cup. So going back to what tool for when, little tension, you know, little bit of energy and build up in the cup. It's all about emptying it before it gets too bad. But sometimes it does get too bad, and there's things to address and tools to do for that. So this is fundamental, is to constantly empty this cup is fundamental to recovering from anxiety and conquering your gratuitous anxiety. So like I also learned from Jordan Hargraves that too many people resort to like 30-minute meditation sessions at the end of the night. But if we're going back to the car analogy, that's like you driving that car and just holding the gas pedal down all day long, and then nighttime comes around and you slam on the brakes and you bring the car all the way to a stop to try and go to bed. That's way too chaotic. It takes way too long. Ideally, you want to drive the car, you know, get to 30 miles per hour. Oh, you hit 40. Let's hit the brakes a little bit. Let's slow down. Get back to 30. Okay, let's, you know, we're winding down for bed. Let's start slowing down. All right, we're 20. Okay, it's about 20 minutes before bed. All right, let's hit 10. And then finally you hit the brakes and you go down to 0, right? You want to control the car. If you're a race car driver, you're not holding gas the whole time. You master both pedals, right? You got to make turns. You're hitting the brakes. So same thing with anxiety and peace or sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system. You don't want to be in in a sympathetic nervous system dominant state for too long. You want to hit the gas, hit the brakes throughout the day. So this is mastering the little tension, right? Let's see. So it's all about countering. Every time you experience any type of sympathetic nervous system load, you want to counter it with an opposing force like the gas and the brake pedal, right? This keeps you at an equilibrium where you're not too stressed and you enter a state of distress, right? Ideally, you want to be in a state of parasympathetic nervous system dominance, which is like peace and calmness. And how to do that. So the little tension techniques, spam these motherfuckers, bro. Spam them throughout the day, like 300-400 times, like every 5 to 10 minutes. Just check in with yourself and relax. So the most OP one is the pelvic floor relaxation. I call it sag your sack, where it's like you kind of just think of like just dropping your ball sack. There's like muscles in your pelvis, your hip floor muscles, that are actually the first muscles to tense up when you experience fight or flight. Like these are the first muscle to tense up. And I guess they tense up like that because it's like they essentially connect your lower body to your upper body, and it prepares you to fight or flight. Like you're connected, you're nice and tense, you're able to run faster, like, you know, you're nice and tense. So if these are the first ones to tense up, if you can relax them, it basically signals to your body, it's like, oh wow, there actually is nothing to worry about. There's an overall calming effect of relaxing your hip floor muscles that relaxes all your muscles. So if you can master the hip floor, pelvic floor release, you can relax everything. This is the most OP one to spam, right? In order to like do this and understand how to relax those muscles, you want to do PMR, progressive muscle relaxation. You want to learn what it feels like to be tense and what it feels like to be relaxed. So you can do that by like flexing those pelvic floor muscles like really hard, and you'll feel them tense up. You hold it for like 5 seconds and just feel what that feels like, and then you let it go, and then you feel what it feels like when it's relaxed. And when you constrict a muscle really hard for 5 seconds and you let it go, it overly relaxes. So it shows you what the muscle actually feels like when it's relaxed. And you do this over and over. Eventually you build up that mind muscle connection with that muscle, and you're able to just relax it instantly. You're able just to instantly relax it. You no longer have to contract and then relax. The contracting and then relaxing of that muscle is just to teach you what each part feels like. Eventually you want to just get good at just being a state of like, I don't know, 5 out of 10 contraction to a 0 out of 10 contraction, and just relax from any state, if that makes sense. That's the most OP one. Bro, I was doing this when I was at LAN in Dallas. Like if I was getting nervous, I was just spamming the fuck out of this. No one can see that you're doing it. Like you're just dropping your sack to the chair. Like no one's going to look at your sack while you're playing. So I don't even know if it literally drops your sack, but that's like the mental cue I use. It's just sag your sack, and it sounds cool. So yeah, just sag your sack more. The other technique you do is like the limp noodle, which is where you just like literally just act like a noodle, and you just like full on just limp. You let everything just limp out, you know? That one's good too, but it's kind of weird if you do that in public. Like you're just fucking flopping on the floor. Like, so that one's like, okay. Another one is trust your skeleton, which is like similar to limp noodle. Like if you feel your skeleton is made to hold up your weight, all your body weight. So just thinking of the cue, like trust your skeleton, you can just like let everything just hang. Like you're not gonna fall over. Just let everything hang on your skeleton, and it basically like helps your brain just learn to like let go of any of that energy and tension build up, and just relax the muscles. And then this one should ideally be 24/7. You want to belly breathe 24/7. When you belly breathe, like it also helps relax those pelvic floor muscles, and also you get way more oxygen into your body. All mammals are meant to be belly breathing. Humans are the only ones that don't because they're worried about like, I don't know, looking fat or something. So a lot of people like flex their core to try and like avoid looking fat. Who gives a fuck, bro? If it's making you feel anxious, who gives a fuck if you look fat? It's natural. You're supposed to belly breathe. Plus, you're probably gonna get better gains, better sleep gains. It's just better for you everywhere. So, ideally, you want to belly breathe 24/7. If you notice yourself start chest breathing, force yourself to belly breathe, and it'll tell your body to relax. Okay. Moving on from little tension. Quick little recap: spam sag your sack, and then also try ideally belly breathe 24/7. What do I hope to do for a living? I want to go pro, but also I want to go pro and then afterwards be like a esports psychologist or like a coach, something along those lines. Next up, you have big tension. So like this is where like you start really feeling anxious. Let me move this again, the webcam and shit. Boom. Okay. So big tension is like when it gets a little bit worse and you're actually starting to feel like a lot of anxious. It's not just like a little bit of anxiety. It's like a little bit more. I put this right here because I realized this as I've been trying to recover, is that you need to use the correct tool for the correct problem. So if you're experiencing big tension, the pelvic floor and the belly breathing will help, but it's not strong enough, dude. Like you're gonna be there for like hours trying to calm down from a big tension state, right? If we're going back to the cup analogy, struggling with big tension is like being like right here, like it's pretty full. It's pretty easy to empty this cup with little tension techniques because it's already like close to empty. But once you're up here, like you need something that's going to empty a little bit faster. So there's tools that you need to use when you're experiencing big tension. So a hot bath works amazingly. Epsom salts or relaxation music on top of it. Catholic chants, bro. I'm not even Catholic. That shit's OP, dude. It sounds like Halo music. It's crazy. PMR, I was just talking about progressive muscle relaxation. This is a fundamental. You need to learn how to relax every muscle. Think about it like aim training. It's a motor skill to be able to relax a muscle. It's just like getting in tune with the body. It's just like learning how to flick, right? That's a motor skill. Learning how to relax is also another motor skill that you can grind and like be snappy with. Like you can be crispy with relaxation, dude. Like, so you can grind this and you can just like relax in the spot with like some intense stuff. Like if you're trying to raise at the gym and you're starting to get scared, if you grinded this at home, you can release it out, bro. You can pull it out and you just calm down and go talk to that girl. So PMR is a fundamental: contracting, relaxation, getting in tune with every muscle. You ideally want to do it with all your muscles of your body to learn how to calm down everything, because you're going to build up tension everywhere. You want to release that tension everywhere. Fast PMR. This is OP. This OP as fuck for big tension. This is what I've recently started doing. I'm about to demonstrate this. It's essentially where you contract a bunch of muscles and then you relax a bunch of muscles at once, and it helps you really calm down. So what fast PMR looks like, you want to take a deep breath in, like you want to go like, and then you want to combine this with a physiological sigh. So you want to take a deep breath in as much as you can, and then take another one on top of it. So it's like, and you want to push it down to your belly and like really expand your lungs. So you take that deep breath and you don't breathe out yet. You hold it. And then while you hold it, you want to contract, like ideally you want to sit down and you want to contract like fucking like like your chest, your arms, your core, your legs. You want to contract it all, and your face. And then you let go. And you breathe out slowly when you let go. And it relaxes all those muscles. It over relaxes all those muscles. So you release a bunch of tension. And then plus with the breath, right? When you do that double inhale, that's known as the physiological sigh. That's another quick way to relax instantly and like literally turn off the part of the brain that's responsible for anxiety buildup. So you basically combine the physiological sigh with PMR, and you get fast PMR. That's like the technique you do. You ideally want to do one set of it where you're contracting like your chest, arms, core, and then like your quads, and then you do another set of it, or no, in your hamstrings, and you do another set of it where you end up shrugging, and then like back, arms, core, and then quad, and you do the quad by like sticking your leg up and flexing it straight out while you're sitting down. It's kind of hard for me to demonstrate with this webcam, but you want to do like 2 sets of that. So you like the second one would look like this. So like the first one is like this, and you're bent over, and you're contracting like this, and then the second one, you like you lift up like this. You lift your legs up like this, and then you get your back and your traps, and you're like that. If that makes sense. Right, you want to do like 2 sets of that. You want to get your traps involved because you store a lot of stress in your traps. Right, fast PR, OP, physiological side, OP. You got breath techniques, which the physiological side would be part of. You can do a 4-7-8 tempo, so you breathe in for 4 seconds, ideally into your belly, and then you hold for 7. You release for 8 slowly, and you want to have perforated lips. Right, you want your lips to be like this when you breathe out. You don't want to try and like breathe out slowly like this. It's too much work. You also do tri-stage breathing, or known as I think it's known as I forgot what it's called. Triphasmic breathing. I got this from Dr. K, Healthy Gamer, where essentially you breathe into your belly, and then you breathe into your chest, and you breathe in a bit more, and you raise your shoulders like, and then you blow it all out. That's a good breath technique too. Naps, OP, 1 to 20-minute power nap releases a crazy amount of tension. Elevating your feet slightly also helps too. And then also just know for naps, I got this from, again, literally all this stuff I got from Jordan Hargrave. Go check him out, bro. Saved my life. Also, this helps for sleeping too. When you're trying to take a nap, the goal isn't to sleep. The goal is relaxation. And then eventually you end up falling asleep. But if you have the goal in mind of when you're taking a nap, even when you're trying to go to bed, it's like, my goal isn't to fall asleep. My goal is to relax. You'll end up falling asleep faster because you get out of your brain of like, oh, I need to fall asleep. I need to fall asleep. NSDR protocols also helps really well too with this, which is non-sleep deep rest. This also really helps too with learning. Meditations, this is another thing that's good too for releasing big tension. Don't confuse this though with rumination. If you struggle with obsessive thoughts, I thought for like 2 years that I was meditating because I would sit with myself and sit with my thoughts, and like I'm like, oh wow, like no one ever sits by themselves and sit with their thoughts. All I was doing was known as rumination, which is like a symptom of OCD, where it's like I'm obsessing over thoughts, and it's like, okay, I'll be okay if I do this. I'll be okay if I do this. I need to do this. I need to do this. And I was just obsessed with my thoughts. Known as rumination. You're trying to like problem solve everything. Don't do that, bro. That's not meditation. You're making the problem worse. And essentially that's just like spamming reassurance. It makes your anxiety worse. Don't do that. Prayer is also really good too. I don't know if anyone else is Christian or religious, whatever, your religion is. I respect it. Fundamentally, I disagree with you. Jesus is king, but prayer can be, very helpful for big tension. Again, though, if you are religious, you gotta be careful, man, because if you struggle with religious OCD, you might end up with obsessive thoughts of like constantly praying. It's like, God, like, please help me, please help me, please help me. God, like, forgive me my sins. And like, you end up with like weird obsessions, religious obsessions, which aren't helpful. So, prayer is OP. Be careful though if you have religious obsessions. We'll move on. Adrenaline. So you have the 2 stages: little tension, big tension, right? And you have the last one, which is adrenaline, full-blown adrenaline. This is important to know because if you're experiencing adrenaline, nothing that I just told you is going to work. Nothing is going to work. You have to do something to get rid of the adrenaline first. If you do not release this adrenaline and find a way to metabolize it, it can take up from 7 to 32 hours for this adrenaline to metabolize within your bloodstream. So that means that you're going to feel anxious for 7 to 32 hours unless you do something about it. So get rid of that shit. We'll talk about how. Also, how to recognize it. How to know if you're experiencing adrenaline. I got this from Jordan Hargrave again. He said like it feels like almost like there's like electricity in your heart. That's what usually what I go off of. Like if I feel like just like this like electricity just going through my chest, that's how I know I have adrenaline. And how to get rid of it, you need to do something that adrenaline would be used for. which is like fighting or flying from a line, fleeing from a line. So working out is not fast enough to release adrenaline, right? Pushing weights, you know, if you're bodybuilding, you're probably doing some type of like slow tempo, slow eccentrics, pauses and stuff. Not fast enough, bro. If you're fighting a lion, you're not gonna fucking 3 second way down, pause, and then push it off you. Like you're trying to fucking fight the lion. Like you're fast twitch, bro. Fast twitch. Like fucking get the motherfucker. You know, you're going crazy. So to get rid of the adrenaline, you want to do something that the adrenaline would be used for. So either you sprint crazy fast for 20 seconds, or you like punch something. If you have a punching bag or a couch, you punch it for like 20 seconds really fast. There's other things you can do too if you're like injured. It's like a drum roll technique. I just learned this from Jordan Hargrave. You want to breathe in like twice. You go, you breathe in and then you hold it and then you go like this. And you like slowly let the air out and you just move your arms as fast as possible. Something I like to do when I feel adrenaline too, if I have no couch to punch or something, I'll just punch the air and like move my feet fast as fuck. So I'll be like, let me back up for this. I'll be like this. God, that's the fucking stuff. Watch, I'll do some shit like this, bro. I'll just like, and just start shaking. Like I just start shaking and just punching nothing and lifting my feet up fast as fuck, like up and down. And you do that for 20 seconds, bro. You end up like out of breath and then you calm down and the adrenaline's gone. And then you can get into like big tension techniques or little tension techniques to fully get rid of the anxiety. So yeah, lifting weights does not get rid of it. Fuck, I'm out of breath, dude. Holy shit, this bulk sucks. It's too slow of a movement. You need to do some as if a lion was going to kill you. Okay. So next up, we just talked about releasing tension, right? Physical tension to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Another problem with anxiety and DPDR is, holy fuck, I'm out of breath, is a buildup of emotion, right? This can be something else that makes you want to dissociate from your body, is a bunch of emotion being stored up in your body. So you need to process your emotions. I've already discussed this quite a bit in my other videos about like sitting with your emotions. But like some important things about that is that like, just because you're experiencing emotions doesn't mean that you're processing them. You have to let the emotions peak fully and you have to embrace like pretty much every feeling that comes with them and every thought for like, I don't know, 30 minutes. It's usually how long it takes for, you know, your body to process someone. You have to embrace everything. It's good to find some place of solitude to go ahead and do this at. I like to go in my car and just cry like a motherfucker. You know, you could put on some music too, some good Halo music, some good sad Halo music, you know, if you're grieving, or, you know, if you got anger, you'll fucking punch something. Like, it's really important for you to process these emotions, because if you don't, they end up being stored as tension within the body, and tension equals sympathetic nervous system buildup, which equals anxiety, or worse, DPDR. So it's really important for you to process your emotions, man. Plus, if you don't process your emotions, you are going to end up disconnecting from them, because, right, if you don't want to feel sadness, your brain is going to turn off the sadness emotion, but you can't just turn off one of them, you turn off all of them. So then you can't feel joy, you can't feel happiness, right? Can't feel motivation. So it's really important to process the shit emotions that you don't want to. They're really not shit emotions, they're there for a reason. So yeah, that's really important too, right? So moving on from that, when it comes to anxiety, there's triggers, right? Especially if you're someone who experiences OCD like me. My whole life, bro, I grew up with OCD. I was never officially diagnosed, but my dad's a psychologist. He said I had OCD. And I've been to therapy and stuff. And yeah, the symptoms are just crazy, bro. Like, literally growing up, dude, I would get to like a 10 in anger. I would be just so fucking enraged. Like, if I just saw like my dad just in a chair rocking, if I saw the chair rocking, or if my brother was chewing food, or if my brother was sniffing or sneezing. There's a lot of triggers, just weird triggers that I had. And I remember a long time ago, my dad told me when he was like studying to be a psychologist, he's like, hey, if you don't do anything about these, it's going to get worse and they're going to spread to other things. And I was like, yeah, bullshit. I didn't believe him. I was like 12 at the time. I was like, fuck that. And I didn't end up getting help, because I thought therapy would just be me getting yelled at and punished by like a therapist, but I was completely wrong. I never got help, and it spread everywhere. And I'm undoing all these triggers now. Everything I've realized, like the past couple years, everything has become a trigger. Like I'm constantly anxious, constantly like worried about perfectionism. Like I have to do things correctly. I have to do this. And the more I sat with it, I realized like, man, this is the same feeling I would get from the rocking chair, from my brother chewing, the same OCD triggers I struggled with before. I was like, man, it's still obsessive thoughts. They just moved on to other things and it spread because I never got rid of the root problem. So I realized the conclusion I came to recently. I was like, man, if I want to go pro in CSGO, right? If I want to really pursue my passion, these dreams, I have to conquer essentially my lifelong demon of OCD and anxiety. I have to conquer this shit, bro. And I have like full hope that I can do this. I've never had hope that I can actually. I always grew up just accepting the fact. I thought I was retarded. Like I thought I had something just mentally wrong with me. I legit thought I was retarded, bro. Like that I was just disabled. Like I was just this non-functioning human because a chair would piss me off. And I accepted it. And now I realize like, wow, I actually can do something about this. And I can do something about all these anxiety triggers, even like talking to people, socializing, streaming, trying to go pro, all this stuff that were stressful and anxious, anxiety inducing to me. I can do something about it. They don't have to be that way. So it's important to recognize what your triggers are. The more in tune you become with your body, the more you'll see them and the more you'll notice them. Like, oh, wow, that's actually stressing me out. Me talking to people, it gets my heart racing. That's the same feeling I get if I were to see a lion, like you'll start recognizing this shit. So a good helpful thing to do is to write out all your triggers and rate them out of 1 through 10, how much they like piss you off or get you anxious. And then over time, you can come back and check in and be like, wow, I used to be at an 8 when I had experienced, I don't know, my dad in the rocking chair. Now I'm at a 4, right? You can see progress when you do that. So what's the crazy thing about these triggers, bro, is that, like I said, you can get rid of them. So if every time you expose yourself to a trigger, let's say it's talking to girls, that was a big one for me. Let's say every time you expose yourself to a trigger and you relax through it, right? You physically relax through it. You don't just say, hey, it's okay. That's not enough. You have to physically relax through it and then say to yourself, hey, it's okay. Both. You want to attack both mentally and physically. Expose yourself. Exposure plus relaxation will teach your brain that this is no longer something that is a threat and you just won't feel scared anymore. It's important. And the thing that's really important about this with the exposure plus relaxation, you need both. You can't just relax without exposing yourself to triggers because you're still not experiencing them. You're still fleeing from this stuff. And you can't just expose yourself to these triggers without relaxation afterwards, because then you're not teaching yourself it's not inherently scary. So don't do what I'm about to say, because bro, I used to I guess I'm like someone who has like a lot of willpower. I had like horrible social anxiety. I thought that I would be able to beat it if I just talked to a bunch of people. Especially if I talked to a bunch of girls, like hot girls, because that's really fucking scary. And so I would just constantly just go out of my way to talk to people in general, and then also girls, and I don't ask for their number and stuff. I was pretty successful. But the thing was that I would never relax through it. I would always just hype myself up, all right, fucking just go do it. And I would just go for it. And it made the problem worse. I guess it leveled up my willpower, because I was able to will myself to do something that was really scary. But I never just taught myself oh wow, it's actually not scary, and actually relax through an interaction with, I don't know, just anyone in general, while I'm talking to people, to actually just teach myself oh wow, there's nothing to be scared of. And then if you're able to do that, right, if you relax yourself, you do those techniques while you're exposed to the trigger, right? Let's say it's talking to girls for me, then you just don't need to hype yourself up the next time, because there's nothing to hype yourself. You're not going to be scared to begin with, because you already just taught yourself that there's nothing to fear, right? The more that you're relaxed in the presence of a trigger, the more that you desensitize yourself to that trigger, to a point where you don't need to desensitize yourself anymore, because it's not a trigger, right? Also, the other thing too, common misconception in psychology, you don't need to find out the origins of your triggers, or you don't have to be aware of what it is exactly. All you have to do is just calm down every time you feel anxiety. Because if your triggers induce anxiety, as long as you're calming down whenever you experience anxiety, then you're calming down whenever you're experiencing a trigger. And so, you inherently rewire yourself to not be scared. You don't need to physically be conscious of what your trigger is. Just every time you experience anxiety, bro, calm down, and you'll eventually teach yourself to not be scared. It does help though to be aware. Yeah, right. That's none of that. So rewiring your brain, neuroplasticity. This shit, fucking webcam, covering another thing. This shit is what gave me hope, bro. Your brain is able to adapt. Pavlov's motherfucking dogs. You can teach yourself to no longer be scared. Just like how I taught myself to be scared of all these things, right? I taught myself that a rocking chair was a threat. I pretty much just associated it because I was just in a stressful environment. But you can unlearn that too. All this shit is beatable, bro. Anybody who tells you that you can just manage anxiety and DPDR is wrong. They are mistaken. They are correct in the sense that you will always have the ability to experience anxiety and DPR because those things are meant, they're helpful, right? If you were to actually encounter a lion, you want to feel anxiety. You want to get that adrenaline pump so you can run away from it. But you don't want to experience that if you're just going to the gym or if you're just trying to play CS and clutch up that 1v4. Like, that's what I'm trying to get rid of, is the gratuitous anxiety, the anxiety that doesn't need to belong there. So anybody who tells you that you need to manage symptoms is wrong. Go on take a more of like an assertive approach that you're going to beat it, like you're attacking the anxiety. Don't wait for it to come up and respond to it. You need an active approach, not a passive one, right? So anyone that tells you to manage it, fuck them. They're wrong. Yeah, and eventually you can get to the point where you don't even have to manage symptoms because your previous triggers don't trigger you. Mind is OP, bro. And like I said, yeah, you can't never get rid of anxiety, but you can get rid of gratuitous anxiety. Yeah, everything that triggers anxiety or even DPR is a learned response. Some of it is inherent. I think there's like some studies that show that people are like naturally scared of spiders and snakes. But you can also get rid of that fear too, is if you exposure plus relaxation, and you relax by doing all those techniques I showed you with little tension, big tension, and adrenaline. So exposure plus relaxation right here. So yeah, the goal is to rewire your brain. I just fucking flip my mouse. Expose yourself to the triggers. Like I said, I already talked about this with the girls where I just throw myself in the fire and not actually calm down. And it made it scarier because I never like taught myself it's not scary to begin with. And this is an important thing. Stressors only become beneficial if you're able to recover from them. So anyone that tells you like, bro, like you need to experience stress in order to like, you know, grow as a person, they're right. But you don't want to experience too much stress where you enter distress. It's not helpful. If we go back all the way over to here, right? This is like I forgot what this chart is called, but it shows like it's about your nervous system. So when you're in a state of calmness, it's like a little bit of like sympathetic nervous system load. This is like you'll find focus and optimal performance like around here, where it's not too much stress and it's not too much calm. But once you go past that, you enter a state of distress, and then you end up in like a catabolic state where like you're just like you're full of like stress and cortisol and like adrenaline, and it like starts breaking your body down. You can't think straight. Also, your cognitive functions shut down. You're not able to like think logically either. It's just a horrible state to be in. So stress is good. Too much stress is bad. Also, too much calmness is also bad too. Like you need stress in your life, but not too much. So it's important to like push yourself, but not push yourself too hard. And that's why when we go back to here, stressors are only beneficial if you are able to recover from them, which I was doing wrong when I was like constantly exposing myself to like scary, like when I was trying to do that shit with like girls and stuff, trying to like not be scared to like talk to girls. I was like constantly like I was in a state of like working out 5 days a week. I was getting like shit sleep. I was constantly grinding CS, constantly editing. I was like in a crazy amount of like work throughout my day. I was constantly stressed out the day. I was overloading my nervous system too with the gym. And then I was also overloading it by all this exposure to these scary things, these triggers of like talking to girls. And I was never calming down through it. So it's like, I was just in a state of distress, like for a long time. That's what ended up leading to that like 3-month period of just complete DPDR, nihilism, and existential obsessions. So yeah, that's good. Use the tools listed before, you know, whenever you're exposing yourself to stuff. So example, me personally with my OCD, I see my dad rocking a chair or my dad eating food. I hear the chewing and stuff. That was a huge one for me. I'll do the pelvic floor technique. I'll try and relax through it. Breathing techniques, you know. I'm telling myself it's okay. And then I'm also physically communicating to myself it's okay. This is the most important part. And eventually it will rewire my brain to do the opposite of fight, flight, freeze with this trigger. And instead, it will just become naturally calm. And you rinse and repeat this, and boom, shit is not scary no more, right? And you can control your life. Um, Another thing too, when it comes to recovering from anxiety, is that there's a lot of layers to this onion. Um, and same with DPDR. The layers can get kind of weird. There's things known as somatic triggers, which is like triggers within the body. So one for me was like the feeling of fear itself caused fear. Uh, and I had to like become okay with feeling scared in order to not feel scared, if that makes sense. Because like every time I'd feel like a little bit of fear, I'd be like, oh fuck, now I'm feeling scared. And it'd make me even more scared and more scared. And it's okay. Your symptoms of your anxiety, your symptoms of DPDR, it is the correct response for the body, just the wrong time. Like if you're to actually see a lion, like you want to be scared. If you're actually about to get eaten from a lion, you don't want to feel shit. So that's why you depersonalize. But it's just there is no line. So these triggers, these not the triggers, these symptoms that you're experiencing, all that fear, stress, and even the shakiness or the lack of emotion, bro, that is okay. It is safe. You're completely safe from them. The worst they can do is make you uncomfortable. That's something you can constantly tell to yourself. The worst you can do is make me uncomfortable. And they're okay. They're inherently okay. Don't be scared of them, right? And then in order to not be scared of those triggers, right, you use the tools I was just talking about. Like you calm down while experiencing the fear and be like, okay, it's okay. These symptoms are okay. I will get through this. You know, some other weird somatic triggers you can get is like even feeling your heartbeat. This is a big one for me because like, I mean, if you think about it, every time you experience anxiety, your heart starts racing. And so then I end up associating my heart beating with fear. So every time I'd feel my heartbeat, it would make me scared. And then I'd get scared. So my heart would beat faster. And then it would beat faster. So I get more scared. And it was just this cycle. So becoming okay with just physical sensations is also a part of recovery of anxiety. Another big one for me too is like feeling my face, because I was like pretty insecure about like my weight when I was bulked up last year. I was like 217. Now I'm like 175. I was pretty insecure about how I look, so like feeling like my cheeks like always just reminded me of being fat, and so I'd like just never want to feel myself physically. But that's like what you want, bro. You want to get back into the body. You want to feel the body. Your body should be your safe place. It should be your home, right? Like that's should be calming. Another big one for me too is like if I felt any rolls in my belly, like if my belly was to like if I'm slouched over and I felt like a roll there, that would like kind of get me anxious because like again I was physically insecure about being overweight, so that one would get me anxious too. Um, and what I had to do was like expose myself to that trigger, expose myself to feeling my face, feeling my stomach, and then calming down through it. Expose myself to feeling my heart rate, expose myself to feeling fear, and then calming down through it. All these things are okay. So there's some somatic triggers that you'll have. Um, yeah, the symptoms are not the problem; they are the byproduct of the problem. The right state of body, right symptoms, just the wrong time. And then the same thing with these symptoms too is that a lot of people when they experience this stuff, they're like, fuck, I don't want to feel scared no more. I don't want to feel scared no more. And they're trying to get rid of the symptoms. And it's like that's what I got from Jordan Hargrave. It's like there's a car exhaust analogy. It's like, say you're working on a car and the exhaust is going off and there's like smoke coming out of the exhaust. And you're like, fuck, the exhaust is going. I don't want the exhaust to come out. I don't want the smoke to come out. And you're sitting here trying to, get the exhaust to stop by messing with the exhaust, but you get the exhaust to stop by turning off the car, right? Like you're trying to get rid of the symptom when the symptom isn't the problem. The problem is the state of body, right? The symptoms are perfectly okay. They're the right symptoms for the right state of body. It's just the wrong time. And it's about like changing that state of body. Also, I just saw a YouTube chat. It's not showing up on my Streamlabs. Anyone who typed in the YouTube within the last like hour, bro, my shit glitched. Retype that stuff. I saw someone just type. I couldn't see it. Yeah. So somatic triggers, shit's okay. And the end goal of anxiety and DPDR recovery is somatic integration. It's becoming one with your body again, feeling all your muscles, feeling all your body without tension, and being okay within your physical body and not dissociating outside of it, right? Everyone is aware of mindfulness, awareness of thoughts, but you want to have a good sense of bodyfulness, which is awareness of body and physical sensations, right? This is how you reach peace, bro. It's how you reach relaxation, right? You can grind interoception XP by doing PMR. Like you can grind this shit, bro. This is the crazy thing, dude. You can grind anxiety recovery. Like I love grinding CS. I love grinding aim training. You can do that shit with anxiety too and just not experience it. Like I don't know. It's fixable. So mindset, it should be a really high priority thing to recover, right? Like this should be almost your number one priority is like constantly being in a calm state, because why not? Like you don't want to be in a distressful state. You're gonna have a hard time building muscle and shit, or even just sleeping and socializing. You want to avoid, again, what I learned from Jordan Hargrave, a recovery mindset where it's like you're obsessed with it. The goal of recovery itself can become an obsession. Ideally, you want to get back to your daily life, your daily routine, and then relax throughout it, right? You want to get back to enjoying life. Just add this to your day-to-day life, like just like brushing your teeth. Add these protocols. Add the protocols of relaxing through little tension, you know, the pelvic floor release technique. Add the protocols of reacting to big tension, you know, fast PMR or the physiological sigh. And then add the protocol of addressing adrenaline, fucking sprinting or the drum roll technique whenever you're experiencing it. Just, it's like brushing your teeth, bro. It's mental maintenance. It's just like how you have physical maintenance of washing your face every night, brushing your teeth. You have your skincare routines. You have your mental maintenance, your mental routines. That's what you do whenever you experience those things. Another thing that helps too is having a consistent day-to-day routine. This communicates safe to the body. Again, shout out Jordan Hargrave. The goal should be to live life, get back to doing your job, pursuing your dreams, you know, having fun, engaging with people. And then you just do all the shit on top of that while you do that other stuff, right? Don't become obsessed solely with just recovery. It's like recovery plus living life again, dude. Yeah, I'm about to get into some other stuff too that I want to talk about. But yeah, just know that all this shit is conquerable, man. Legit 3 months ago, bro, I legit thought I broke my brain with my existential obsessions. I thought I was unrecoverable. I thought of something that no human should have thought of. I actually had like a weird superiority complex too, where it's like, wow, I'm thinking about, you know, consciousness. I'm thinking about reality, and no one else is. Like these guys are just a bunch of like, they're dumbasses. They're in the Matrix. Like, you know, I was like obsessed with all these existential thoughts. Nothing felt real. Like reality wasn't real. I wasn't real. I thought like I couldn't feel emotions. I was completely nihilistic. I had no empathy. Like it was the most darkest fucking time of my life, and I performed like dog shit. That's the other thing too. It makes me play worse. So it's like I just want to like mention all this stuff because it's fixable, dude. Like I legit thought I broke my brain, and there was nothing. There was nothing that would fix me. There was no meaning to life. It was the worst state of mind ever. And it is almost a completely, I'm not even fully recovered, bro. And I feel like, I think if I was at 100% before, I'm at like, or let's say if I was at 0% recovery, like a couple months ago, I'm probably like 40% recovered. I don't even think I'm fully there yet. And I feel fucking amazing because I've never felt this way in my whole life. My whole life, I always had stressors, you know? And I'm like, I'm undoing all that stuff. So there is hope, bro. There is a hope. There's also this thing called co-regulation, which is like actually something a little bit different. But even just seeing other people, like hope is what I learned from Jordan Hargrave too. Hope is a critical ingredient to recovery from anxiety and DPDR. Is very critical. Even just having hope alone will help you see a reduction in symptoms. And you can gain this hope by even just looking at me and seeing me recover. And I gained my hope from seeing Jordan Hargrave and other people and his testimonials that are on his channel of other people recovering. Like it is such a huge, I don't know, it's such a huge motivator, and it makes you actually think that you can conquer stuff because you can, bro. It's a fact that you can. It is a psychological, scientific, biological fact that you can recover from this shit. All this gratuitous anxiety. You don't have to be scared when you're clutching. Like that's what I look forward to, because it's like, bro, if theoretically I can apply this to anything. Let's say I do go pro and I'm on stage at a major. If I'm on a stage at a major enough and I apply these techniques, I just won't even be scared. Like it just won't even be scary anymore because I've desensitized it as being scary. I want to be able to be myself on stage in front of thousands of people. Like that'd be fucking crazy, you know? Or another thing is like, bro, some girl I think who's out of my league, I can go approach her and talk to her and just be myself because it's not scary. Like that shit used to be scary, and it don't got to be scary, bro. Like nothing has to be scary unless it's like an actual lion, you know? Like that's the whole trick, is telling yourself there is no lion there. So, yeah, some interesting stuff, man. And the last thing I want to talk about is if you can master stuff. This is like some analogy I wanted to make. It's about like the pushes and pulls of life. Something I realized. It's like, I feel like within life there are arrows, right? There's these arrows that you can use, right? So you have an anxiety arrow, right? This is something that's gonna like there's pushes and pulls to life. So anxiety arrow is something that's gonna push you away from something. It's scary, right? So let's say that there's like, I don't know. Let's say you streaming, right? It's your first time ever streaming. That's scary, right? That's inherently scary. So it's gonna push you away. There's gonna be an anxiety arrow that pushes you away. You're not gonna want to do this, right? And then there's a dopamine arrow, right? There's this blue arrow. There's things that are inherently fun. So let's say that streaming is actually fun for you. So there's a pull to it. You want to stream. So now these two arrows cancel themselves out and you're able to stream. Even though it's a little bit anxious, it's actually fun. So we're able to overcome this anxiety, right? There's also another arrow in life as well, which is willpower, right? You're able to overcome things just by sheer will. I believe in free will. You know, I was down my little philosophical path of like 3-4 months, just obsessing with that stuff. I went through free will. I went through the arguments for that. I'm a believer in free will. I'm not a determinist or nothing. So there's such thing as willpower. I'm a believer in that. You might not believe in it. I don't know. It's kind of weird that you. Oh, never mind. You know I believe in it, but yeah, there's free will, so you can overcome things inherently. So let's say like you don't want to stream. Let's say streaming isn't enjoyable, but you still want to stream. You can like overcome that. Like let's say you're just like, well, I'm gonna do it anyways, and you still do it anyways. Like you overcome that with willpower. You can do that too. There's a willpower arrow. The thing with willpower arrows is that you only get like 5 a day. Like let's say you can't willpower everything. Like you don't really get that much willpower. It's a diminishing source. It's something that can be trained where like instead of every day you spawn with 5 willpower arrows, you spawn with 6. Like you can, the more you use willpower, the more you can use more. Like it's something that can be built up, but it's a limited resource. You only get a certain amount a day. So like and then like the last arrow that you would find is like a habit, like a habitual arrow. So things that you do over and over, you naturally want to do again. So like let's say that streaming is inherently like anxiety inducing. It's stressful, it's anxious, but you do it a lot. So you have like these 2 habitual arrows. So like even if it is scary, you don't have to use willpower to do it. You don't have to use dopamine to do it. It doesn't even have to be fun, but the fact that you do it over and over, it's a habit. You can just overcome the anxiety with the habit. And it's like, if you can understand these 4 arrows, bro, like you can do literally anything. Like if you really break it down and think about it, right? If you understand these 4 arrows, let me get rid of this right one, right? You got the willpower arrows. You have like a certain amount a day. You spawn in with a certain amount, right? Let's say you get 5. You got a willpower arrow. You got the dopamine arrow, right? That one looks too much like that. Let me get a deeper blue. You got dopamine arrow, and then you got the habit arrow. And it's like, if you can master these 4 aspects, right? So the whole video I just told you today is mastering how to get rid of anxiety arrows, right? You don't need to feel fear when you're streaming. Or if you're playing, right? You're performing. You got a match, right? Performance. Holy shit, I can't type. CS, right? You're in a game. Let's say that's really anxious for you. You get like 3 arrows. And every time you want to play CS, it's pretty fun to you. Like let's say it's a little bit fun. You got 1 arrow. And it's also a habit too. So you got 2 habitual arrows because you play every day. You got to they cancel each other out. It's 3 to 3. You got to overcome it with a willpower arrow, right? If you want to like go and practice and perform and play CS, like there's like so much shit going on. What I just told you today teaches you how to get rid of these. Like you don't need these arrows here. Like you can get rid of the anxiety arrows, bro. Like they just don't need to be here to begin with, right? And then if you can get rid of the anxiety arrows, you playing CS can be done just because it's fun, right? Just because you want to play, it's fun. And also just because it's a habit, right? Say it's a green arrow. Just because it's a habit and it's fun, you don't need to overcome anxiety. Now you just want to play. Now you just want to practice. You don't need to use willpower. You don't need to like force yourself to go do it. That shit's fun. So it's like, if you can master the anxiety, the whole video I just told you today, you don't need to like overcome stressful things. You don't need to overcome it with willpower or dopamine. And then also if you do the last video I was just talking about, like how to master your dopamine, these arrows become more powerful. Like shit becomes more fun inherently. So like, let's say that, you know, CS maybe is stressful, but you learn to stop going on TikTok and stop beating your meat 8 hours a day, doing cocaine, all that shit. Like, you know, you make smaller things more enjoyable. Instead of only having 1 arrow for how fun CS is, CS now becomes super fun because you've mastered dopamine. You stop dopamine stacking And now you still don't need to use willpower to overcome this anxiety. The dopamine naturally did because it's fun for you, right? And then the more you do it, the more it becomes a habit. So now you build up this habit of playing CS and practicing, even though it's still a little bit scary. Maybe it's still a little bit scary to you. It's a habit and it's extra fun because you master your dopamine. Now you just overcome it. And then, let's say you do the video I just told you today about how to overcome anxiety. Now there's not even stress. And now playing CS, practicing is just fun and it's a habit. And like nothing's going to stop you. And this looks like a dick right now. What the fuck? What the fuck? Does that make sense though? Like if you can master these 4 arrows, bro, you can literally do anything. And the video I just told you is how to get rid of these red arrows. Fuck them. You don't need red arrows. The other thing I want to talk about too, that I realized I end up doing with my anxiety, I end up taking my anxiety and using it to my advantage. Don't do this. Do not use your anxiety to your advantage. I realized that, like, I don't know, let's say streaming is scary, but I was like, well, it's even scarier if I don't become successful. So I would overcome this one anxiety arrow with something that's even scarier. It's like, well, fuck, dude, I don't want to not become successful. And then it's like, then I'd be able to overcome the inherent fear of streaming because it's scarier of the alternative. Don't do this because it just builds up more anxiety. You ever hear someone that like light a fire under your ass to get something done? Bro, that's what I was doing. I was lighting fires under my ass, but I lit these fires fucking everywhere. Where it's like, oh, well, I have to go to the gym. Like, I don't want to be fat. Like, oh, it's like, oh, I gotta talk to that girl because I don't want to end up like a social loser. So I was creating all this anxiety to overcome anxiety. Like, let's say for like CS, like I was scared to play, or let's say it was like scary for league matches. Well, I was like, well, I don't want to fail. So like, let's go play then. So I just made more anxiety of the alternative. Don't do this because then you just end up with anxiety in front of you and anxiety behind you, and then you just end up making triggers everywhere, and everything's on fire. It's no longer just your asshole on fire, your ass on fire. Everything's on fire, bro. So like, the trick to overcoming anxiety is not to make the alternative more anxious. The trick to overcoming anxiety is just make this not anxious to begin with, where it's just not scary. It's not scary to stream. It's not scary to talk to girls. You shouldn't be able to talk to a girl because it's scary that you don't talk to them. You should be able to talk to them because it's just not scary to begin with. Does that make sense? Like, if you can master these 4 arrows and like learn to not abuse anxiety, because it's very motivating. This arrow is insanely powerful, and you can convince yourself that the alternative is even scarier. That's what I was doing, but then everything just ends up being scary, and then you end up in a sympathetic nervous system dominant state 24/7 because you got all these triggers everywhere. It just doesn't help anything. It wears you down. So like, ideally you want this one to be like the main thing. Ideally you want shit to be fun, right? Ideally you want everything to be fun, and you want to use like a little bit of willpower to overcome certain things. Sometimes you have to overcome these arrows. You have to use a little bit of willpower to expose yourself to anxious things, and then eventually you want to get rid of this from exposure plus relaxation, and you eventually want to do that thing enough that there's a bunch of habitual arrows that make it where you don't need to use willpower anymore, and you want to be able to do something that's fun to you, and you want to make shit enjoyable, and you don't want these arrows anywhere. You want a majority of habitual arrows and like dopamine arrows. You want shit enjoyable. You don't want to have to use willpower. You don't have to like use anxiety or avoid anxiety. Does that make sense? Like, that's something I was like thinking of. Like, if you can master those 4 arrows, like, bro, you can do fucking anything. Yo, Cheney. Yeah, I mastered these 4 arrows and I still couldn't beat Cheney in a match, bro. That's the one downside, man. So you still can't beat Cheney. But yeah, does that make sense? Like, after going through the whole anxiety shit that shows you how to master the red arrow, and the last video with the dopamine that shows you how to master like the dopamine arrow. I don't know. This is something I want to throw in at the end because that's like how I kind of like started looking at life. Like, you can really like master a lot of shit, bro. That's the end of my speech, dude. I had this. I had this in my head to talk about for like the past, I'd say like two months since I've like took that dude's course. Let me show you guys his channel. Jordan Hargrave. This guy saved my life, bro. On God, he saved my life. Yeah, hit me up. We can scream. I thought you meant like right now. Yeah, we can scream. This dude about anxiety DPDR. I end up taking his course. Literally saved my life, bro. I have like sincere hope for the future and like recovery from this stuff. And then also I'm already seeing benefits of like just performance itself, because I'm no longer in a state of distress. Because I would come into like practice, I would like come into practice and like league matches already in a distressful state, and now I just come in calm, and then it brings like a little bit of stress. But now I'm in an optimal performance state. You see what I'm saying? Like if you can master your sympathetic nervous system, you can master being in this optimal performance state. And then I come back and I leave calm. I'm no longer constantly in this distressful state. Another thing too that this chart forgot to add is that optimal performance and focus comes here, and like a little bit of stress, a little bit of relaxation, like the middle ground. There's also there's also a state of holy fuck, I can't talk. Fuck. There's a state of optimal performance too, if this were to go a little bit further, where it's like crazy anxiety. If it were to, like you were to experience crazy amount of anxiety, there's like it peaks again for optimal performance a little bit further down the line. Like if you're like in that fight or flight response and the lion's attacking you, you're actually like in a crazy performative state. So like when you see people at majors and stuff, or like at the finals, you know, maybe they're not able to maintain this optimal performance where it's like in the middle, but like, and they're like actually really anxious and scared, but like they've reached a point where like it kind of comes back and you're able to focus again. But you don't want to constantly be at the end point where you're like, you reach optimal performance through adrenaline. Like that's something that's like kind of rare to hit. It does happen. You ideally want to be here. But yeah, that does happen. Like sometimes like when you're in that 1v4 clutch, like let's say you're finals of a major, you're probably going to be scared. You're probably going to be super in a distressful state, like super high adrenaline. But there is a state of performance when you're high adrenaline. But like I said, you ideally don't want to be there. But yeah, this is something I've been like cooking up for the past 2-3 months. I've been trying to implement it for myself first before I even discuss it, because I want to actually be, I want to master the knowledge before I translate it to other people. I don't want to just be some parrot. But this is something I've been doing personally. All this shit, bro. All this shit plus more. The past couple months, and I've seen crazy results mentally, performance wise, out of the game, riz wise, you know, socializing. Like, I don't know, dude. Life's fun. Life's amazing. I have optimism. I have hope for the future again. I got emotions again. Like all this stuff. Where's the symptoms at? Where are the fucking symptoms? All these symptoms. I got like the opposite now. Like sometimes I come back because you know recovery isn't just a linear line. Sometimes I'll experience some of this stuff again, but I'm able to work through it and come out and like it's better, you know. Yeah, Riz Masterclass next. That was pretty interesting. Thanks for sharing. Can definitely see how it's life. Yeah, dude, it really is. So you chose these are dopamine arrows. Yeah, my handwriting was pretty ass there, dude. I was trying to write so fast and get to the point. Also my mom in the chat. Let's go. So, yeah, my mom learns too, man. Like that's the crazy thing is that like everything I've dealt with, I legit got from her. Like she is, oh my god. Oh, you talk about me with anxiety, bro. So like everything I've dealt with, dude, she's dealt with too. So it's like I'm learning and she's learning at the same time. Like my whole bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, my whole family, even my cousins, my uncles and shit, everyone's got anxiety. Like I thought it was just normal to be paranoid and like, dude, like I'll be at like family meetings and people are talking about like end times and like, yeah, how are we gonna prep for like zombies and shit. And it's like I thought that was normal to like constantly talk about, and then I realized like, oh wow, actually everyone's just anxious as fuck with this family, like trying to constantly overthinking stuff. So, yeah, I'm trying to break that cycle, man. I'm trying to break that cycle of my family being anxious. But yeah, dude. Hopefully that all makes sense. Riz Masterclass. Yeah, we're gonna do that next, dude. Yeah. Wait, that's not normal. Dude, literally like, oh my god, the stuff they would talk about, like the what ifs. They're like, yeah, but what if this happened though? Like, what if, but you don't know, and it's like, I don't know. The more I like, the more I learned about myself and my problems, when I would come back and listen to them, I was like, damn, like these people are all anxious, man. So hopefully y'all learned something from this, man. I've been waiting to make a video about this. I think this is probably like the most out of any video I've ever made, besides the beating your meat one, it's probably like the most helpful if you can put it into practice. It's just, yeah, it's gonna take some work though, you know. So that's all, man. The stream went on for a fat minute. I wasn't even supposed to stream tonight, but I was like I gotta get this done, and I was feeling anxious about presenting it, so I was like, I gotta do it anyways. Exposure plus relaxation, you know. So hopefully this all helped, man. Hopefully this helps anyone who's like struggling with that shit. I'm about to head out though, y'all. GG's. We didn't even play a game today, but I'll be streaming Tuesday for